I think she should have been on the team too. But definitely Caitlin Clark. Now, I didn't quite understand how you bench Diana Taurasi, how you can't find any time for one of the greatest players ever, who can shoot, by the way.
Well-known sports analyst Stephen A. Smith recently unveiled surprising news about Caitlin Clark's reported contract with a European basketball club.
And we're just so proud and privileged to be here, and I'm honored to be up with these two very special people who are leaving their imprint all over the world of culture these days. Thank you. So, now our master of ceremonies today is not going to be me. It's going to be Mr. Stephen A. Smith. And when I asked him if he would come out here to be a part of our special homecoming, wasn't even a hesitation, because of two words: Caitlin Clark. So with that and all the love we're feeling out here, I'm going to let Stephen kick it off and get to some interviewing, which he does so well with Caitlin.
Well, first of all, what's up, everybody? What's up? We all know I'm many things, but I ain't a liar. This lady right here, Caitlin Clark, is my favorite college basketball player in the world. She is something special. And Caitlin, I'm just gonna start because they wanna hear from you, obviously. You know, it's when you see this crowd out here, knowing they're out here for you, what does it feel like for you to be a part of this and to be such a leading voice and face on this campus?
Yeah, that's the reason I came here, is because of crowds like this. So thank you guys for coming. Maybe if it's not for me, it's for Stephen A., the man. But no, that's why I chose Iowa, but also I'm an Iowa kid. I grew up here. I grew up rooting for the Hawkeyes. I grew up 2 hours from this place, so it's really special to me. And you know, my first year here was COVID, and it was really different, but now here I get to experience it with all of you. We're gonna play in front of 15,000 people every single game this year. Sold out crowd, yeah. 50,000 people for the crossover at Kinnick next Sunday. So
Supporters of the WNBA were left in shock after hearing the unexpected news about their beloved star possibly exiting the league. Even in her debut season, Caitlin Clark has made a significant impact, quickly becoming one of the standout talents on the court. Recently, she's caught the attention of overseas scouts and has been presented with a highly appealing offer from a European team. Given the circumstances, it wouldn't be too surprising if the Indiana Fever's dynamic point guard decides to take her talents abroad.
Okay. One is the fan that videoed that Chicago Sky game. The other, who was the young lady that took video during COVID, when the men had this weight room available to them, and they had
There you go, Stephen A. Yep.
her
Mm-hmm.
right there, right there. That girl right there. That's who deserves it. That's her right there. Give her credit. Her. And last but not least, Caitlin Clark. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. You got to sit up there and pay attention to the rising tide. It lifts all boats. You can go out on the court and go at Caitlin Clark with the fierceness that your competitive juices demand. But in the process of doing that, you learn to love that girl. That girl went up in her press conference and said and spoke about flying commercial. They didn't sit up there and make this decision until after she said that. You understand? Now everybody want to sit up there and talk about, oh my God, why did it have to come to that? Damn it, forget all that. She did it. She didn't have to, but she did. She got her contract. She getting her bag. She got her endorsement deal, but she looked.
Alongside her $76,000 rookie salary from the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark is also backed by a lucrative 8-year endorsement deal with Nike, bringing in $3.5 million each year. Her growing brand presence includes a partnership with State Farm, where she features in widely aired commercials, and she's also a face for Gatorade. While the exact figures from deals with Wilson, Gainbridge, Zinity, and Buick haven't been disclosed, it's likely these endorsements contribute several million more to her. Overall income.
Dawn Staley perfectly encapsulated everything. She said, you are one of the GOATs of this game, because of her impact and her greatness. She definitely deserves and warrants that level of respect. Devoid of a title, she basically deserves that level of respect because she basically put the sport on its shoulders and uplifted the sport. We can't take that away from her. But I'm going to tell you what's interesting, and nobody has brought this up. I'm going to bring this up, okay? You know, one of the things we didn't talk about was what happened Friday night. That damn call by that official with 3.9 seconds left that gave, that helped. Now, I'm not going to sit up there and tell you that it was the wrong call. I just hate the fact that the call was made at that particular moment in time. You want to definitively see the players decide it as opposed to the officials, even though technically speaking, it seemed to be the right call, although not in the moment, but then you watch the replay over and over again, not in real time, and you say, okay, you can understand how that call was made. So none of us brought that up. Here's why I'm bringing it up now. One of the greats is like, yo, we gonna see when you get here. It's gonna be different. Now she said that, and I'm saying to you, that does give Caitlin Clark an opportunity to show, excuse me, yeah, it is different. And the level that I've entered is different, and the support I'm gonna have is different. So guess what? More might be coming. When we see that, if we see that, we might be talking to her about her in an even more elevated light.
I think the reason why players like, sorry, Shannon, really quick.
Go ahead.
Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird say this is because a lot of people have experienced the women's basketball season from the context of the last two.
Caitlin Clark isn't obligated to head overseas during the WNBA's 6-month offseason, giving her the option to rest or train locally. However, despite some recent improvements in pay, WNBA salaries still fall short of covering all the expenses professional athletes face, such as agent commissions, specialized training, and maintaining a proper diet. Because of this financial gap, many top-tier athletes, including Diana Taurasi, Breanna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, and Sue Bird, have chosen to play internationally, where earnings tend to be significantly higher. Back in 2015, Taurasi reportedly made $1.5 million playing for UNMP in Karberg, Russia, highlighting just how substantial overseas contracts can be.
Even after 20 years, they can't get enough again. One more year echoing throughout the arena. When you feel that love, what thoughts and emotions go through your team?
Yeah, I just got out of the locker room and I was talking to BG, and I'm like, there's still days where I'm like, I can still do this. I still want to play basketball. And then there's, the flip side, where there are days where I'm crawling out of bed. I think the tide turned, obviously, when Matt and Josh said this in the picture. I think they just completely changed how people feel about this franchise. Obviously, with the Mercury and the Suns, and what we were able to do in the offseason with Nick as our new GM, hiring Nate. I think it's brought a different vision to our team going into the future. And obviously, the last couple seasons were difficult. And I think you can see this team and this franchise and what it means and what it stands for. And obviously, Tosh and Ka and Beck are a big part of the future going forward. What BG's been able to do here for the last 13 years, and she's going to step into the role of really being the person who represents this franchise, and the way she's done it has been amazing. And I think Sophie has really stepped up into that leadership role of, this is what it looks like to play in this building, to put that jersey on. So I think we're in a good place going forward regardless.
Diana, we saw fans crying in the stands. Yeah. How are you able to control your emotions throughout this whole game? I mean, seeing your family, seeing Sue, how are you able to keep it all together?
It's not easy, and I wasn't trying to fight any type of emotion or feel a certain way. I just kind of took it all in.
Clark's potential decision to go overseas may not be driven solely by financial gain. There could be personal reasons behind such a move as well. Living constantly under pressure and public attention can be exhausting, and even Indiana Fever head coach Christy Sides has acknowledged how tough this season has been for her star player. Despite the intense demands, Clark has managed to stay composed and carry herself with impressive professionalism. For nearly a year, she's been in the national spotlight, transitioning directly from a standout senior year at Iowa to her first season. In the WNBA, without much time to rest, she's been playing high-level basketball nonstop, all while under constant public scrutiny for the past 11 months.
I'm not pissed to the point where I'm annoyed and I'm going to call people out their names, or especially people that I love, like the person I'm about to talk about in a few minutes. But certain things need to be corrected for the record, because certain things people are just ill-informed about. And the publications that grab the headlines and try to manipulate things and make things seem as if there's something that they're not. I understand that some folks are desperate for clickbait. That's how they do it. They don't care about accuracy. They just care about talking shit and not knowing what the hell they're talking about. So I'm here for it. And that's fine, because that's one of the reasons I'm in good shape, because I don't hold stuff inside all the time and let stuff foment, and ultimately an implosion takes place and I'm the one that suffers because I'm unhealthy. No, I believe, and as I've said this to family and friends throughout my life, I believe the best form of stress relief is reciprocation. When people stress you, stress the hell out of them. And that's how you'll alleviate your stress, because they'll know stress is coming down the pike and they won't want the damn trouble. So maybe they won't bring you trouble. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And it's regarding the subject of Caitlin Clark. For those of you who don't know, she's a former star at Iowa in college. Played in the national championship game before losing to South Carolina. She's number 1 overall pick for the WNBA draft. She is a special talent, to say the least, even though she's not having a special year, because the Indiana Fever are stinking up the joint. They've got the second worst record in the league. Only the Washington Mystics are worse, who are 0-8. Indiana Fever are 0-9, but that's not the story involving Caitlin Clark and all the drama that surrounds her on this particular day.
Caitlin Clark may have had a slow start early in the season, but the 2024 Rookie of the Year quickly found her rhythm and made a significant impact just a few games in. She helped revitalize an Indiana Fever squad that had been struggling for years, consistently landing lottery picks. Including the top overall selection in the last 2 drafts, Clark's contributions to both the Fever and the WNBA have been undeniable. Her presence has elevated the league's visibility and energy, and she's already being hailed as one of the most impressive rookies in WNBA history.
When Ryan Ruocco said, Caitlin Clark is possessed, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. At times, she was unconscious. For me, watching that game, it's one of those games where you can't even be mad. Like, you can't even be mad at Caitlin Clark. You can't hate on her. You can't say anything negative about the way she performed. There's not one thing you can take away from that and be like, oh, she was this, or oh, she didn't do that. She checked every single box. That's why Kim Mulkey hugged her so aggressively at the end of the game, because it's like, dang, you did great. I can't stand it, but I love you for it. Like, Kim Mulkey even gave her an aggressive hug when the game is over. That's how you know it was real. You know how you dap somebody up just aggressively because you're like, yeah, that was great. I can't stand you for it, but I can't say anything bad about it. She was poised. She was under control. She manipulated the defense left and right. She got to her spots. And for me, one of the biggest things, Stephen A., you mentioned drawing things out of other teammates that we didn't even know was there.
As of the latest standings, the Indiana Fever rank just behind the reigning champions, the Las Vegas Aces, and last year's finalists, the New York Liberty, in points scored per game. Their offensive output has surged, jumping from 7th place last season to 3rd in 2024, a major improvement fueled by new talent. Caitlin Clark and teammate Kelsey Mitchell both averaged 19.2 points per game, making them the joint leading scorers for the team. In her debut season, Clark not only topped the team in assists and steals, but also made league history by leading all WNBA players in both categories. She currently averages 8.4 assists per game and has knocked down 122 three-pointers, marking the second highest total in a single season. However, her high level of involvement has also resulted in a record-setting 223 turnovers, placing her ahead of Alyssa Thomas by 78 in that category, the most ever recorded in a WNBA season. Before the Olympic break in July, she had already set a turnover record with 139, highlighting both her dominant usage and the challenges of a rookie season under intense pressure.
don't know. I think just getting some time to relax and reset. And then honestly, just like getting in here and getting to work on some stuff that we probably haven't got to work on all year long, or just like, break down analytics and find ways that we have to improve. A lot of that is defensively for us. Like, we've done a pretty good job at scoring the ball. I think we score at 87 points a game. So just improving defensively, I think that's the biggest thing. And getting in here even on my own and working on some stuff that I want to work on. So all of that has been really good, honestly.
Is there some advantage to having like a practice day and sort of an in-between day? It's not sort of a constant grind right now. You can reset your brain just a little bit in these couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've had like the weekends off still. So like that's kind of been nice, where we go during the weeks and then you have the weekends off to kind of do what you need to do, whether that's, see family, see friends, work on things that you want to work on, improve on things that you want to improve on. So I think it's been good. You don't have to mentally prepare for games. That takes a lot of mental preparation, and it's mentally taxing at the same time. So just getting that reset has been really good for us. But it feels like, our next game is really right around the corner next week. So it comes fast. So we'll really pick it up here in the next weekend.
Is there an element where, okay, now we're ready to play, we're ready to get back to it now?
Yeah, I honestly kind of feel that already. I feel like I'm ready to get back out there and get playing, but that's probably because that's really all I've known over the course of the last, year. So I feel like I'm at that point.
What did you personally learn in the first half of the season that you can take into the second half?
I think a lot. I think it's just like continuing to adjust to this game. It's a lot different than a college game. Learning it from game to game and taking that with me, and seeing how defenses are guarding me, learning my teammates, building relationships with them, building that chemistry. That's the best way we can improve. So honestly, I could probably make a long list of the things I've learned. It's just continuing to add to that every day and carry it over, and I think I'm continuing to do a good job of that.
Now we have to talk about what's being called the Caitlin Clark effect, something that continues to impress and excite. Since her arrival to the team, Indiana Fever has consistently led the WNBA in fan attendance, both at home games and on the road, thanks to Clark's incredible popularity. Clark herself has expressed amazement at the outpouring of support, especially from younger fans. "It's amazing to see so many little girls who genuinely look up to me," she shared. During her second appearance in Atlanta with the Fever, over 17,600 fans filled the seats, setting a new attendance record for the venue, and a notable move. The Atlanta Dream relocated that game to the much larger State Farm Arena, normally home to NBA games, to accommodate the surge in demand, as their regular 3,500-seat venue wouldn't have been nearly enough for the Clark-driven crowd.